and welcome to season 2, episode 1. I am so excited that we're here. Season 1 ended up in a cliffhanger, but we're not going to focus on her. We're going to focus on season 2 and what's to come with season 2. Lots of K-dramas. We're talking like new, old, older. Lots of Korean films. Lots of entertainment news. If it's on and popping, just think Rising Moon. If you get that reference, like comment on my latest Instagram post or my latest comment down below on this video. If you get that reference. And also, guys, we're now a video podcast. I got my together. We're now on YouTube. You can catch us on YouTube. Just put into your search bar the name of this podcast. You'll find it. So for those of you who would like to watch the podcast, there's a solution. And for those of you who want to continue to listen to the podcast, it will still be available where you get your podcast. I'm so excited. We're going to have guests this season. We're going to have people in the studio or joining us remotely. And we're going to have some Korean music recommendation, like music I really liked that I listened to this week. And it's going to be a really fun time. And we're back on every Tuesday. So set your calendar or don't. But we're going to be here every Tuesday. But I'm very excited to really be back on here. With that being said, pour yourself a drink of choice, whatever your drink of choice is, and let's get this party started. Woo! So guys, this is the after party, meaning you had to have gone to the party first, and then you come to the after party. So I say all this to say, there's spoilers. So if you have not seen the show, then you should not be listening to the after party. But if you have seen the show, then carry on. And if you're the type that's like, I'm never going to watch it, or I'm going to watch it but I don't mind the spoilers, carry on. And whichever show it is that you have seen, listen to that one. And the one you haven't seen yet, just skip out on that one. So just a brief reminder what we do here. It's a after party, so you got to have watched the show before. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, we're gonna get right into the first drama of today's episode, and that is Crash Course in Romance. I loved this drama. I had my, but overall, I loved it. Before we get into it, we're going to name all the characters in the drama to make an easy explanation experience for me, because I get stuck on saying people's name. I get stuck on saying my first name, so that's why I shortened it to 4 letters. So we're going to get right into naming them. And if you're watching on YouTube, I will put up the pictures of each character just so you can kind of, in case you don't remember the character names, so you can kind of reference. And then for some of you who are listening, I hope you remember the character names. So we're going to get right into it. So we have Nam Hae-sung, who's the main female character. We're going to call her main dish. Then we have Choi Chi-yeol, who is the main male character, and we're gonna call him teacher. Why? Because he's a math teacher and his name is Chi-yeol. I'm so proud of myself. So we're gonna call him teacher. We're gonna call Namei the daughter of the main lead. We're gonna call her Lil Main Dish, because daughter, main, little. And then we're gonna call Nam Jae-woo, we're going to call him main dish brother. We're not really going to do more with that. And then the character Kim Young-ju, we're going to call her main dish best friend. Yeah. And then we have Isun J, who's best friends with Namhei. So we're gonna call him Side Dish. And then with Saganu, one of their friends, one of the little students, we're gonna call him Hockey Dude because he used to be a hockey player. And then we have Jang Sojin. We're gonna call her Lawyer Lady, and she's the mom of Side Dish. And then we have Bang Sua, and we're gonna call her Hater Girl because she is truly a hater. And then her mom will just go by Hater Girl's mom. And I believe that. Oh, I almost forgot. We're gonna call Ji Dong Yi. We're gonna call him Killer Assistant because rightfully so. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, we're gonna get right into sort of just me talking about my thoughts and opinions about the dramas, the things I like, the things I wish were better, the things I wish weren't there, or could have been done differently to make this a much better drama. We're going to start off with how I even found this drama, because Netflix didn't advertise it to me, which is interesting because I have a different profile on Netflix with the purpose of it to watch all my K-dramas. And so this way they know to recommend me K-dramas, but they didn't recommend it to me. TikTok did. I was like scrolling on TikTok, and the video comes up of Lil Main Dish when she was very young and Main Dish when she was younger. And she was picking up Lil Main Dish from school, and all the kids around them are like running to their mom, mom, oh, mom, mom, mom. And of course, Lil Main Dish kind of makes her feel even extra abandoned than standard abandoned. That it also makes her feel like she doesn't have a mom. So she asked like Main Dish if she can call her mom. And I don't know, something about that scene, I was like, I got to watch this drama. So I looked it up. Shout out to the comments on TikTok. And I figured out what the drama was. I went on the internet trying to figure out where was showing it. Thankfully, it was on Netflix. And it was only 4 episodes in at that point when I checked it out. But yeah, I was surprised that Netflix didn't advertise it to me. Even after I started watching it, when new episodes would drop, it wouldn't even show up in my continue watching. I would have to search for it. So I don't know, Netflix and this drama had beef in the beginning or something. But overall, it is a romantic drama in the name. And I thought that was what it was until I watched the first episode, and I'm like, oh, this drama is not just a romantic comedy. It's a thriller. It's a mystery. It's suspense. And basically involves nosy, overachieving mothers who do anything for their child. I mean, anything for their child. A metal ball serial killer. And middle-aged individuals falling in love. And yeah, that's the drama. That's the overall, like, that's what you're going to get out of that drama. But I think overall, like, everyone involved put on a really good performance. I didn't think anyone was super lacking in their, in how they portrayed what they were given, the plot they were given, the character they were given. I enjoyed overall the performance. I would say that, like, watching the main lead character, like, fall in love, like, and like realize that the importance to like a healthy relationship is just valuing communication, and also seeing a middle-aged couple is just like a lit, primarily because they just seem so mature. We don't have this, like, we're breaking up just to break up trope. You know, we don't have that. They communicate. There's not a lot of misunderstandings. They talk through things. And, like, when they hooked up, the 2 individuals that hooked up weren't doing the most, you know, because they were mature being. Now now that I realize now that when did Name Song have time to, like, do the do and not be awkward the next day. Because from what I understand, homegirl didn't have no life. She couldn't do the do because everyone thought she was married and had a husband. So I understand him not being awkward, but she not being awkward, girl, good on you, I guess. Yeah, but overall I think that like I really loved main dish. I love that character. She's such a like hard working baddie. A hard working baddie. She served devoid her entire life. Well, not sort of. She did to her family. And it's what's intriguing is that it didn't make her this like mean person because she had to give up a lot. Because just picture this: you're young, you're not, you're on, you worked hard. You worked hard to get on the national handball team, and then life just happens. Your older sister abandons her daughter. Then your mom passes away. So now you're the eldest available, right? You have to take care of not only your brother, who is on the spectrum, but also has like a heart condition, primarily that, and also take care of your niece. Yeah. If my sister was to drop her kids in front of my doorstep, I would I wouldn't throw them away, but like it would definitely be the beginning of the end of my life. Like I wouldn't be able to do anything I wanted to do because I would obviously take care of my nieces. I'm a decent human being, so I would obviously take care of my nieces, but it wouldn't be like what I would have wanted to do, and it would change all of my goals and the things I had planned in my particular future. And that's basically what happened to her. And she continues to devote herself to the family for years and years to come until when she was now able to like actually find love, be in love, and get married. Well, we didn't see the marriage, but they're on track to get married. And so I loved her character. Now, her outfits, girl. But you know what? She quirky. I'm just gonna leave it. She kind of reminds me of Hwang Jung. I'm definitely butchering her name, and I sincerely apologize. Um, you might know her as the female lead character from Lucky Romance. I almost said Fade to Love You. Kill Me, Heal Me. What else? What else? She was pretty. Full House Take Two. Full House Take Two was really a moment. Yeah. Anyways, I think overall, I loved like seeing how the main dish and her family interacted to each other. It just felt really healthy. Her relationship with Lil Main Dish, I just loved their interactions, their communication style, and they were just had so much unconditional support from one another, and it was it was nice to see there not be so much toxicity in that household. And so I think that was one of probably my favorite parts of this drama was just the parts that were just really sweet and loving, and like they all like she had a main dish an understanding of like education is important, but it's not be it and all, right? Having a healthy school and life balance, it was great overall. Um, and the romance was cute. Like their moments were cute. You can't take that away from me. It was cute. It was cute. However, well, not however, there was definitely some, I guess, things I didn't love, or like were like, why did we do this? Or like, could we have reconsidered some decisions we made? we had some moments like that. I think like one of the biggest one was like, as someone who's watched a lot of K dramas, and I always like, now as I'm older, really honestly when I was young too, I gravitate towards like crime mystery, like thriller, revenge drama. Like I love a good comeuppance, a good revenge, a good like someone's out here killing people and we gotta solve it. You know, watching detectives do their things. I love a good that. Um, so I don't know. It felt pretty simple to me. I was able to like guess who the killer was. I think by like episode 6 or 7, um, and um, I think they did the reveal in like episode 15. And it was interesting because they like panned up, like I think it was, I'm trying to remember, it was in this car trying to basically shoot one of those metal balls at main dish, and they panned up and they like revealed the killer's face and his killer assistant. Shocker. Like it was the most underwhelming reveal because I think most of everyone that was watching it, I mean, you've figured it out before then. If you didn't figure it out, yeah, I guess it's not like some people just don't. I don't know what to say. I know what I want to say, but like I'm not really like I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but everyone figured it out. And I, for some reason, they thought that like we really needed that weird reveal when it wasn't hard to put two and two together. However, I realized that like I can't really, like take points out for that reveal, primarily because it was a side plot. Big Mouth, the reveal of Big Mouth in the drama Big Mouth was probably the most underwhelming thing that I can remember that I've witnessed in a K drama in the last 6 months. How do you F up the reveal of the main plot of your story? Like, I was so disappointed in who Big Mouth was. Anyways, I could go down that road again, and I probably shouldn't, so we're not going to. So the underwhelmness of this reveal wasn't necessarily too bad because it wasn't the main plot. And I think that the writer and director, whomever else, probably thought that we just couldn't figure it out. so they might have been proud of themselves. I don't know. I mean, I guess they do have to officially confirm it. It's just the pan up to his face. I was just like, girl, we've been known. We know it's him. Like, adoy. But I think another one that like I don't want to give too much energy to is little main dish mom. How are you going to be a terrible parent? I want to use different words, but I'm cautioning myself. Be a terrible parent, and then 10-ish years later, still be a terrible parent. You abandoned your kid with your younger sister, go God knows where, no communication at all, shows up 10 years. I assume she's probably like, let's say 5, 6, maybe 7, and she's at least 18, 19 now. So let's just say 10-ish years. 10-ish years of no communication pops up, and you still terrible. You're trying to take from your sister. You're trying to take advantage of people that care about your sister after your sister single-handedly took care of your biological daughter for years with no communication from you. How are you incapable of growing? I did not like that character. And I know they tried to do a little sentimental thing. No, you had all the time in the world to be better, and you did not. You did not improve. So no. Main dish brother and her best friend getting together. Huh? Like, hello? What's happening here? We're 2 episodes to the end, and we just dropping this in, like we have 2 more episodes, and like we just like this is what it is, and it's just like a quick development, and then they end up like married, like together. And I have some concerns, but I don't want to dwell on it because I don't want to like go too deep into it, because I could go and we would just be off base. But I did not see they when they were in the tented like restaurant food place. There was a lot of things that were done there that made me uncomfortable. So, uh, we're just gonna leave it at that. Um, I think that the writers felt a need to bring and partner everyone up. And it's entirely okay for people not to end up with people just for the sake of you ending a drama. You can end a drama with the appropriate and necessary people partnered. Because I had to pause. Because why does Hater Girl get basically what they were showing is that she ends up partnered with Hockey Dude. Hockey Dude wasn't necessarily like, he kind of was the like second male lead in between side dish and little main dish. Because we can't let that trope go. Like we didn't have it in the main leads. We didn't have it in the main leads, but like, oh, we'll just do it in the side, like the co-leads or whatever. And Gonhu was like, Hockey Dude was a decent person. Saved Little Main Dish from falling down the stairs to break whatever fracture die. I don't know what would have happened. I have no sense of impact measurement. Like he was friendly. He was never an AO. Defended Little Main Dish. Became friends with Side Dish, even in the midst of them competing for the same girl. However, he was a good person from what was shown, and he gets partnered with Hater Girl. Hater Girl, who all of a sudden became nice to Little Main Dish when 2 seconds ago, literally the night she was kidnapped, the night Little Main Dish was kidnapped, Hater Girl was fantasizing and having delusions about killing Little Main Dish. So, and she was seeing things she was seeing things. She had lost the whole school competition. All that stuff was like really affecting her. And there's nothing about her getting help, her seeking help, her talking to someone about it. Like, how did she arrive at like now she's nice to Little Main Dish? If anything, I think that her resolution should have been her getting help and like getting better from the help she's getting to then be able to really succeed in college, because she's made it through high school, but there's going to be a next one, because when you're in college, guess what's next? Competing for jobs. So if she does not get the issues and the underlying issues that she has, it's going to be there and prevail there even later. So I just feel like it's really unfair to Hockey Dude for him to end up, like, I would have preferred for him to end up with Little Main Dish girl best friend, because like she deserves it. She was a good friend. She didn't have much of a storyline, but she was a good friend. And then the other thing is Lawyer Lady, her wrap up, all of a sudden, like she changes. She goes to court because of the stealing test and whatever scandal thing with her son's side dish. And then she gets fined like $8,000, like around like 10 million won, and now she's like there for her kids. She goes on a trip with her older son, and she's just a changed woman. And I'm just like, lady, you didn't change when you broke your oldest son. The man was a recluse, had no social like skills, recluse, barely left the house, and was doing nothing with his life. He was just at home, locked up in his room. You broke your son, and seeing and witnessing that, you proceeded to move on to your younger son and put just as much pressure on him. And that did, like, you breaking your son did not make you change. So I don't know. I feel a little bit like we just wanted to sort of do a quick wrap up here. And it's like, it just seems out of character that she would have changed over. Because I'm sure, like, she got that in her bank, like, in her sleep. So it just seems a little bit out of character. But if that's what the writer wants me to feel, girl, I ain't gonna fight you. I'm not gonna hold you. I will feel exactly that if that's what you want me to feel. And I think that, like, my biggest, like, beef, well, it's not my biggest beef. So Killer Assistant ended up unaliving himself at the hospital. So, we know he goes to where Lil Main Dish is at and tries to harm her because he overheard Lil Main Dish best friend say she's awake. And there was a tussle, runs out, Cheater runs after him, and they're now on the roof of this building, and blah, 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 unalives himself. There was a news little thing, and then everyone moves on like he didn't exist. Huh? like he did not exist. I know it wasn't like that whole storyline was not a main plot, but it feels out of character that Cheater, like, did not have some, like, after the fact trauma. Like, I don't want him to be so traumatized like he was before, where he couldn't sleep because he kept picturing Killer Assistant's sister in his nightmares or dreams or whatever. Or I don't want him to, like, not be able to hold down food, but, like, this is someone that was your number two. Was like, you lived and breathed each other. He was there for you. You worked him for, it was a big part of your life because work was his life. And just like that, it just seemed like there could have been a little bit more, especially unless you're saying Cheater just, like, changed, but to keeping up with his character, it just felt like a little off that they just, like, the death was so sudden. And then how everyone moved on and basically acted like he just never existed was just, like, weird. But at the end of the day, I think that we could have had this killer plot or some plot of someone sort of manipulating Cheater on the back end and not devote so much screen time on the front end. So that way we could have maybe fleshed out Hitter Girl and her story, and fleshed out Lawyer Lady and her, like, coming to a change. It would have allowed us to flesh out some of the other character storyline a little bit if we didn't spend it on a plot line that we just wrapped up, like, really quickly and forgot about. And so all in all, I would say that I enjoyed it. I liked it. I mean, I didn't miss an episode. Like, every time an episode dropped, I watched it. So I would recommend it if you're looking for something that's not intense or all over the place. Well, something that's not intense, and you just want to have a side of cutesy, a little bit of mystery, and just, like, everyone ends up happy, then this is your drama to watch and check out. And that's it for Crash Course in Romance. And now, drum roll, please. The Rainbow team is back. Taxi Driver Season 2. Man, my brain can't. I can't. I was trying to like say it in like the number in several languages, but I am spent in the brain area. For everyone, if you haven't seen it yet, it's currently airing. And so it's not finished yet. But I've only seen episodes 1 to 4, so that's what we're gonna just give my opinions on today. And as a reminder, for those of you, well, if you're watching this and you haven't and you don't plan on stick around, well, unless you've watched it, a lot of what I'm saying wouldn't even make sense to you. But Taxi Driver is really like peak my style. They get revenge on criminals who would have otherwise gotten away with it or have gotten away with a crime they committed. Like, peak my style, because they're solving things, getting revenge, giving people comeuppance. That's like, I eat that for breakfast, and I don't even eat breakfast. Now, before we get into like my opinions and thoughts on episode 1 to 4, we're going to talk through the characters and rename them. So we're going to start with the character Kim Do-gi, and we're going to call him so genius Taxi Driver. And the character Jang Sung-chol, we're going to call him CEO Jang. And the character An Goen, we're going to call her Queen Hacker. And the character Choi Kyung-gu, we're going to call, so he's the lead mechanic slash engineer. We're going to call him Long Hair Gu. And then the character Park Ji-yeon, the other mechanic slash engineer, and we're going to call him Assistant Jin. And last but not least, the character On Ha-jun, a new driver on the Rainbow team, we're going to call him New B. And with that being said, we're going to get right into it. I am so excited, like, when I saw the crew back together in the first episode, when they did the little mini case that they worked, and then you see the other people, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I've waited a year and some for this, because season 1 aired in 2021, and I think it was like like April, and so it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's been a minute. I was so excited, and so there are a few things that, like, I thought, one, I wish that the beginning case, like the really short like intro case, was more like explored as a full case. But who knows, maybe it's gonna come back later in the season and mean something. I don't know. Or it was just like a thing for the intro, for them to do a really cool flipping of a prison bus and SWAT scene and show him pumping iron. I don't know what the term is. Clearly, I didn't watch Physical 100. But maybe that's just what it was. It was just to drive the beginning of the season of the first episode. One thing that we did see was that basically they flash back till basically towards the end of season 1, and CEO Jang and the Rainbow Taxi Company gets raided. CEO Jang basically chooses to take one for the team. And he's then released later. Like, all the allegations were dismissed. But at this time, everyone is scattered. He sent them off, told them to just go do their own thing. And Kim Do-gi, Taxi Driver, came back. And I was like, why did he come back? Like, they didn't really tell us why, but he back. And I'm like, well, I know that man ain't got no friends. he don't got no friends. But then I'm just like, what would he do? Because Queen Hacker, it makes sense. She like joined the police department, and they have whatever unit that has a skill set that she has that she can like give. And then the engineers, I mean, they're freaking engineers. there are companies that can utilize their skills. And then I think, like, what is Taxi Driver good at? He's good at beating up people and fighting. Um, and I think it was in some sort of like service. I don't know if it was like military, army, but one of those esque type thing. But I feel like he might have trauma from that, and as though like it was coming from break, and that's kind of like how we saw his mother who died, who was killed, and then he still has a little bit of PTSD from that. So I'm like, I guess the easy option for him was to go back to the Rainbow Taxi Company and / the Rainbow Team. And so, but I was curious, maybe, who knows, they might never tell us, and it's just like, yeah, he's back, and that's it. Move on, lady. And I respectfully heard it, moving on. In episode 1 to 4, they solved 2 cases. So in episode 1 and 2, they solved the Vietnam kidnap group case, and then in episodes 3 and 4, they did the Young Surrey Village case. And the Young Surrey Village case is just like getting revenge on a scammer who goes to villages that's like populated more with elderly people and scams them. And this poor woman, like, put into debt, made the person the face of like defrauding her fellow neighbors. And it was just like terrible to watch. And on top of that, like, she was so afraid of bothering her son that like she was just ready to end it all, because a comment was made that like it'd be better if she was just dead. And it was sad. It was sad to watch, because you see things on the internet of recent of people victimizing elderly people because they might not be up to date on technology. They might be a little trusting because someone is saying fancy words to them and it just sounds like they know what they're doing. And it sucks. It sucks. And I think that sometimes we don't realize that, yeah, sure, you're not murdering people, but you are murdering people's soul and their desire to live. And then the Vietnam kidnap case, basically, they did solve the Young Surrey Village case. The resolution here was that they were able to retract all the money, pay off debts and things like that, set apart the scamming group, and the head of the scammer is now probably still in the mountains looking for this treasure that does not exist. And now a prisoner in his own mind and just crazy now. And then with the Vietnam kidnap case, basically this company ran by Koreans operated in Vietnam, pretend to be a legal standing company, and they like put out job posting, and when they hire you, you are hired to work abroad, basically work in Vietnam. You fly there, they kidnap you and force you and keep you hostage so you can code and build gambling sites / apps. And this the Rainbow team got involved in this because someone's loving son was kidnapped. And the father wasn't going to let that go. And they found everything. They found the son. They saved him. They saved a bunch of other people as well. Returned the son back safely to his dad's. And the biggest kicker is that the person that was the head of that operations, from what we could see, was the police. Was the chief of the violent team unit at Seoul Police Station that the father was working with to find his son. The police in this drama so far and shit, because they were so rude to the father, and the one that dealt with the Young Surrey Village case was also so rude to the grandmother. I just was like, can we be polite human beings? Like, can we just practice being polite? Anyways, I would say this. Long hair Goo and assistant Jin, are they okay? Because how you going to get on a plane to Vietnam and just thinking the whole vastness of Vietnam that you just going to find taxi driver. Like, you just going to end up together. I mean, they do. It was a reach, but they do. But either way, there's such a comedic relief because this drama like deals with cases that are heart-wrenching, and having the little comedic relief in the middle just like makes it an easier swallow whilst being able to get the like impact of the harmful things and terrible things and like being able to empathize with the victims on these cases, but then having like moments of like it's not so dark. So they're so funny, and I'm so glad they're getting more screen time now because we're not spending so much time on persecutor Kang Hana's story. And so I'm happy for that. Like, I'm indifferent to that character not being in this season. Like, I didn't skip a beat. And I don't think that Queen Hacker gets enough credit, at least maybe for myself, because like in the Vietnam kidnap group case where taxi driver goes to Vietnam alone, because at this time it was just officially him and CEO Jang. So Queen Hacker joins the case. They still don't know about Long Hair Goo and Assistant Jin because they just somewhere in Vietnam, lost suitcase and all. And immediately it just like made me feel better about him going alone on this trip, because Queen Hacker, she can get him information. She can unlock doors. She can stop or change traffic lights. She can like hack into things. You need that information for him to then be able to be a one-man army. She is key. She is important. And she is a baddie. I love her. She's like one of my favorite characters. And I peep Queen Hacker and Taxi Driver because she's soft on that man. Like, she's really soft on him. And I'm here for it. I was here for it in season 1. Because I was not here for Kang Hana and Taxi Driver. I just wasn't given. But I was here for it, especially in the episode where they worked through her trauma with what happened with her sister. Like, yeah, I peeped. And I peep even more now. But y'all don't do too much. Not too much. Let's just keep it subtle. We can keep it there. But let's not do too much. Okay? Let's just not do too much. But I love her. She's like my favorite character. And we saw the return of Madam Lim. And I just want to say, because we saw the return of Madam Lim, we were blessed with a brief return of the baddie, Wang Tao Ji. Mans was styling, accessorized fully, like a baddie. And I think with the resurgence of Madam Lim, I just love, I think she was probably one of favorite character that got revenge on. She was not a good guy by any means, but I was excited to see her. And I think, this is my guess, I think that Madam Lim was the one that killed the Popo in the Vietnam kidnap case. So basically when the Popo and Taxi Driver came to a face-off at the top of that building, and Popo was pointing a gun at Taxi Driver, and I was like, yo, who you gonna shoot? Because Taxi Driver is gonna pull up on you, turn that gun around, he has a gun in his hand, you wouldn't even see it coming. But before Taxi Driver could do anything, somebody else shot him. And so I strongly feel like the person who shot him was Madam Lim, because I can't imagine that she sees and knows and becomes aware of Wang Taoji because he used her to move the revenge plan forward, and she just gonna go back to her area and just not continue to look for him when homegirl hasn't moved on. Nah, that's not her. So I think that she might have been the one to kill the Popo guy, and now she knows, or we'll be finding out more information about who really Wang Taoji is. And I don't know, I feel like she might be really mad because Wang Taoji and Taxi Driver only have one thing in common: their physical appearance, not even their style, just a physical appearance. But Wang Taoji was a character, and they had so much in common. That's why she fell in love with him. So I don't know. This could be bad, but we're going to talk about Mr. Shin Jae-ha. AKA newbie. Fresh off the boat from being a killer in Crash Course in Romance, I didn't even plan this at all. It just happened. I really hope that like he's not on some BS, because so far he appears to be super nosy, nosy AF, up to no good. Really just doing the most. Like, why are you touching, looking into, like, just drive the taxi, drop off the taxi, go home. Why? Like, who is that? Who cares that much about the workplace that they're digging into things? That's how you get yourself into things you don't want to be involved in. So I don't know, but I feel like when we were seeing, there was like this scene, like towards the end of episode 4, I guess the epilogue or whatever, you overhear someone in a car, and they've taken a picture of Taxi Driver, and they're like confirming to someone like found him, and then they took pictures of the other Rainbow team members, and I was like, okay, so now it's like there must be more than one. Like the enemy person is obviously not working with newbie, because newbie been found Taxi Driver, newbie been found the crew. So like if he had a picture of Taxi Driver, he been found him. So why would somebody else be confirming that unless they're not working on the same team? So it boils down to, is newbie clearly can't be a part of that team, whoever that person works for. So he either has his own agenda and vendetta, or he just is nosy and he will eventually become a good help or support to the Rainbow team. Or he's gonna have his own mini revenge, but it's not the big main revenge. And I'm trying to think about like what could be he began revenge on. And I was like, well, if I were to go left field, we go to season 1. I don't remember the episode where we work through Queen Hacker's sister story. That company, the CEO of that company, Udata, I believe, he gets blown up. That's the whole thing. You've watched it. And if you haven't, he gets blown up. And maybe that's his son. Maybe newbie's his son and he's here to get revenge on his dad. I don't know why. Your dad was shitty. Your dad was a terrible person. So like, yeah, it sucks because obviously your dad's your dad and you don't want your dad to die. But I think that like if that is his son, I don't even know. There's nothing that has been shown in this drama to connect it to that for me. I'm just taking and reaching. What's that character from Fantastic Four that's like stretchy? That's me. I'm like hella reaching. It'll be funny if that ends up being like actually what it is. So my guess on who the like main enemy is, I have 2 guesses. Guess number 1 is it's Madam Lim. And it's interesting because I feel like she would have to like have improved a lot more and gotten more stronger and have more connections for it to be her. But she's been like thinking about Wang Taoji now for for a period of time. So she might have gotten stronger. Who knows? Or it's some political something. Because one thing I remember from when in the Vietnam kidnap case, when the Popo guy was running away to the little like abandoned area before the show off, or before he was shot dead, he was like talking on the phone like, I've got the money, and I'm just like, and I'm thinking like, is he talking to his accountant? He has to be talking to somebody that he reports to. Kind of like how like you can be the head of like, let's take a marketing team, for example. You have like your designers, your writers, your digital people, your print people, your all of this. And then you have like, let's say it's a company that like interfaces, does business with like businesses and does business direct to consumer. So you have like a B2B team, a B2C team. And then those people might now roll up to like a director of marketing, and then roll up to a VP of marketing, and then roll up to like a chief of marketing. And so he might have been like a director or VP, but he still has that chief of marketing boss. And that might be who he was talking to. And once they caught on that someone was onto the guy, they probably felt like it was better to like kill him than to leave it open where he could get arrested, investigated, and somehow kind of give up more information. So I think that there's a lot of mini like Vietnam group case company-esque things. And they have different people that are over operations, and all of the money they make there goes to a slush fund for a politician's campaign, or a conglomerate's like chairman's slush fund to bribe politicians so that he can get his way. So I think that that's what it could be. Either way, I'm looking forward to watching more episodes. Looking forward to the cases that they work on, they get revenge on, and the creative and unique characters that Taxi Driver plays, because I love when he goes into character. It's just like, it's so fun. And there's just something about like the way he like walks slow motion. I don't know how to do it, and I'm just like, do we need to really be slow motion all the time? But it's the vibe, and I'm not gonna knock the vibe, you know? I'm gonna let him have the vibe. It's working. Because I find Taxi Driver sexy. There's just something about a human being who can fight and protect himself, because I can't. I don't got no strength at all. I can barely lift things I should be able to lift. That's actually, it's quite sad. But yeah, I'm excited and I can't wait. And as I watch more of this, I know I'm going to start getting more clues, and I could be completely wrong in my like guesstimate of who this main enemy is. There could just not be, there has to be a main enemy, but it could be someone like completely off. It could be CEO Jen. That would be odd, because that don't make no sense. It can't be CEO Jen. But yeah, I think I'm very, very, very excited to continue watching the season. And now, with that being said, let's talk about upcoming K-dramas in April. So K-dramas that will be airing in April that are on my watch list. So there's only 2. There's more dramas airing in April. They just are not on my watch list. And I'm so excited for this one. The Jang couple are back. Jang Nara, Jang Hyuk, coming back to us with a comedy spy drama called Family that will air on April 17 on TVN. They don't have an official like where it would be streaming, but we'll figure that out closer. I know some of y'all, you know, if you don't watch it on streaming site, you catch it on one of those like, will I or will I not get a virus today sites. Well, basically, it's a drama about an NIS black agent who lives undercover as like an ordinary office worker, and his sweet but fierce wife who dreams of having a dream family. I am so excited. I've never been excited for a drama because I love those two actors and actresses, primarily because like I'm very much like a loyal type person. I'm loyal to people that have like been with me for a period of time, and I have nostalgia effect when I think about certain actors and actresses. There's a certain level of comfort that I have when I watch their stuff, like when I know they're gonna be in something. Just think, if you go to a party and there are two lines, and a line has someone you know and a line has someone you don't know, you're going to naturally gravitate towards someone you don't know. And if you go to a party and there's no one you know there, then you're going to fake it till you make it. Sometime you make it and you like are able to make friends and you like it here. And then they become your someone you know in the future. Or there are times you just like, oh, like I'm uncomfortable. This is awkward. I don't know anyone. I'm not really vibing with anyone. I'm just going to go home and go to bed. There are also instances like that. And so they are my comfort zone. And I love them. So I'm so excited for that. And then the next driver drama is Queenmaker, also known as W, the City of Women Who Never Die. I love a drama about baddies, like powerful baddies. This is a political drama that revolves around two powerful women with different opinions but work together to achieve the same end goal. I love that. This is straight out of Wiki. And so hopefully it is true that they do work together, because there's nothing that I love more than powerful women who are not in competition against each other or working against each other, but are working together. I live for that. I love that. I want that. And so this is going to air on April 14th. You can watch this on Netflix. It's going to be 12 episodes. And it stars Kim E.A., oh my gosh, and Munsori. And I'm looking forward to watching that. With that being said, there are other dramas that are going to be airing in April. I have one more slot to fit something in. So if there's a drama that you all as a collective are going to be watching and you want me to watch it along with you so I can talk about it here, comment down below that drama, or like comment on my most recent Instagram post, and the one that has the most like recommendation, like the drama that's recommended the most, I will plug that into the third spot for the upcoming April drama. And now we have the Korean music recommendation of the week. I've been listening to this song nonstop all week. It's a vibe. It is A Mirage by Amin. And it's on Spotify. I don't know much about Apple, but I'm sure it's gotta be on Apple. And I love that song. Like this morning I listened to it. It's just a vibe. And obviously music is based off of taste, so you might not like it, but this is what I've been enjoying this week, and so I'm sharing that with you. And we'll let that play us out the rest of this episode. And next week you can expect we're gonna to come back here. We're gonna talk about Taxi Driver 5 to 8, a new drama, Agency. It's not new, it's finished, but Agency 1 to 2, and then this is a new one that actually started airing on like the March 11th, and it's Pandora Beneath the Paradise 1 and 2. This one is a little bit tricky. We'll see if I drop it later on because it reminds me, like the vibe of the poster, like gives me Penthouse vibes, and I could not get through Penthouse 1, and there was no way I was touching 2 or 3. And so if it gives too much Penthouse, I might not finish it. But we'll see. I'm going in there with like the best mindset overall. So yeah, tune in next week. This is what we're going to be discussing in next week's episode. Thanks friends for coming to today's after party. I had fun. I hope you had fun. And remember, your invitation to this After Party podcast never expires. So bring your ass over here next week, Tuesday, so that we can talk about the other dramas. And in the meantime, while we wait for our next episode to drop, you can connect with me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at Deurama Unnie. That's DeuramaUnnie. And you don't have to go home, but you got to get out of here. And young. Bye, everyone.